Welcome to my video where I am assembling one of the two red pandas that I have been making for well over a year now. These red pandas are a special request from two of my nephews. They are brothers, so everything I make for them, I have to make two. So it's not just a simple one red panda, it has to be two. Here I'm adding the nose, and you probably just saw my cat Twix decided that she wanted to come up on the table and be part of the recording. Of course I didn't have room for her, so I had to move her. So I put the eyes together and put on the eyebrows during one of my Twitch streams because I wanted to see how cute it would be with the little eyebrows. So now I'm just putting on the nose, stuffing it with a little bit of stuffing, and then just securing it in place. I decided for these projects, for these pandas, to make all of the body parts before I assembled any of the pandas. Though I did put the nose on the other panda head only because I wanted to see kind of the full effect, and it was super cute, so I couldn't wait to finish the rest of it. I'm embroidering on the nose, which is just some brown yarn that goes across the top. Now comes the ears. I left the brown yarn tail so that I could put that through the head and get that securely on. It kind of gives me a starting point for where to start putting the pins and placing the ear in the right place. I pinned both ears before I started because I wanted to make sure that the whole look of the panda was right on and that one ear wouldn't be crooked compared to the other ones. The other one, there's only one other ear, there isn't multiple ears. Sometimes when making ears, you single crochet them together at the opening, but for this one, the pattern did not call for that. And the pattern called for it for the legs and the tail, so I don't think it was a mistake on the pattern writer's side. I think that you're just meant to sew on both sides of the ear, which is exactly what I did. I used the white yarn or the cream yarn. Even though some of it was brown, it doesn't make that much of a difference since the panda has both cream, brown, and red in their fur. Sometimes crocheting these small parts, sewing them on, is a pain in the butt. Definitely not my favorite part, but totally worth it in the end when it ends up being just absolutely so cute. I think I kept checking my phone, which is why it kind of jumps a little bit. I think I was getting a lot of text messages from my sister. There we have the head, and it's so cute, and now I'm just adding a little more stuffing to the body as I try and line up the body exactly where it should go. With some pins, I had to count the rows to see where they suggested putting it and see if that's where it lined up where I thought it should go, and it actually lined up perfectly, and I was really happy with the placement of the body. Sometimes I put the head on a little crooked, and I'm usually a little bit upset by it, but this one worked out perfect. Now let's hope that I can perfect that when I do the second one as well. But I'm sure something will end up different because it always does. Even if I did them at the exact same time, one would end up definitely different than the other, especially if I'm doing them at a separate time. I put pins all around the body into the head, and I kind of pulled the body away from like it kind of tucked in, and I pulled it out a little bit so that it would secure into the head, and that helped me when I was able to put the needle through both the stitch on the head and the stitch around the body. It naturally just wanted to curl in, and I just made sure that the pins helped keep it out. One thing I do to secure the ends of my sewed on pieces, which I kind of cut out of the video because it was a bit of a long process and the video is already long enough, is that I take the tail end and I stick it through the body somewhere, or the head, wherever, another piece of yarn basically, and I attach it to another thread, another tail. So in the case of the body, I had the thread the tail from the head pulled through the body, or the head, so that when I pulled the tail from the body, I could put them through the same hole and then tie them in a knot, and then just feed them back through the head, and have them poke out another area and just cut that off. So that if for some reason the stitches get a little bit loose, they can only get so loose because they're attached to another piece of yarn inside the body, and then that tail is not going to come out. This is a mistake that I made earlier in my work, and actually these nephews these pandas are for, they have quite a bit of my work, and one of the things that they have is a Pikachu, and some of the tails on the Pikachu arms are coming out, and they don't care, they don't mind, but it bothers me because I'm like, man, I've learned so much since I made that. If I made that today, it wouldn't do that. At least I hope not. I hope that's what the point of tying them together is. So I try and do that for everything. If I have something that doesn't have another end, such as the tail for those legs, I just tied it to one of the leg pieces, as well as had the other leg tied to that leg. This part, I don't really know what happened, but somehow I made a mistake when I sewed on these front legs. One of them is fine, and the other one I found out after I had sewed them both on. The other one got messed up. And I don't even know what happened. Watching this over now for the second or third time, I'm still not sure what happened and where I went wrong. But I went wrong somewhere, and it was just kind of facing the wrong way. So when you looked at the panda, one arm was like facing one way, one direction, and the other arm was facing the other direction. And it just looked absolutely bizarre. And so I actually ended up having to cut it and start over. So I haven't actually made that other arm yet at the time of recording this voiceover, but I will have to make it for that second panda. And this was one of those cases where I was actually really happy that I had made all the body parts for both pandas before sewing it together, because I think I would have probably stopped at this point if I had to remake this arm right at this moment. I probably would have just stopped, and who knows if I would have ended up finishing recording it, because I would have just been so frustrated. But I just pulled out another arm from my bag and attached it right away, and then you can see the finished product. The final thing that I have to do is put the little details of on the paws, and I think I have this one at this whatever speed I have this video set to, I think 5 times, and the rest I sped up to 10 because, or 9 I think, because it's just so long to do the exact same thing. And the red panda was really cute before, but once we get this final little detail on, it just adds that much more cuteness. And I'm so happy with the way that this panda turned out. And I can't wait to see my nephews' faces when I finally give them this panda that they've been waiting for over a year for. Have a huge long list of other things they want me to make, so who knows what I'll be making them next, but I'll try and make sure I record it here. And here is just a last final look at the panda, and its legs are a little floppy, but I kind of like it that way. And he's super sweet, and he's just meant to lie down, and he's just absolutely adorable.